Do you feel like it's hard to move on and date after a relationship with a narcissist? In this video, we'll explain why it's more difficult than you think. Now, if you're recovering from a relationship with a narcissist, then you know all too well how much of an emotional roller coaster it can be. It's not only draining, but also very difficult. It's challenging to even start thinking about dating again, let alone actually try to move on. Does that mean you have no chance of having another relationship? Of course not. But you have to keep in mind that the process will be really tough. You've experienced something traumatic, and that can impact how you view dating as a whole. Indeed, it is quite remarkable that any of us are able to re-enter the dating scene after experiencing a narcissistic relationship. Despite all that, all hope is not lost. Keep watching, because we'll get into detail about why dating after having a narcissistic relationship is tough. But remember, it is not impossible. After all, we'll also share what you can do so you can heal from your experience and bounce back faster. Because you deserve to be in a healthy relationship after what you've gone through. Number 1. Understand what trauma bonding is so you can prevent it from happening again. Understanding what trauma bonding really means before getting into another romantic relationship can help you avoid falling into its trap again. Because that's what happened in your relationship with your narcissistic ex. Basically, trauma bonding is when you justify your ex-partner's abusive behavior by interpreting their actions as acts of love. This is because after abusing you, they'll do actions that you can easily interpret as loving behavior. They may even come to the point of love bombing you before restarting the cycle of abuse. And a good example of trauma bonding is Stockholm Syndrome. Know that trauma bonding is nothing like the enchanting and magical relationships we all want. Instead, it's filled with making excuses, giving second chances, and putting up with uncomfortable situations. The sneaky thing about trauma bonding is that it operates without us even realizing it. Just know that when you find yourself inexplicably drawn to someone and ignoring your values and boundaries, that's a clear sign of this unhealthy bond. If you've been in a narcissistic relationship, there's a risk of falling into the same pattern again. This risk is especially high when you rush into a new relationship or rebound from a narcissistic one. But don't worry. By taking your time and learning more about trauma bonding, you can empower yourself to protect against its harmful effects. There's still a risk of it happening, but you'll be better prepared to face it head-on. Number 2. Acknowledge that you need time for yourself. After ending a relationship with a narcissist, one of the battles you have to face is learning to love yourself. And taking a break becomes a crucial step in this journey. That said, it's important to acknowledge your need for time by saying something like, I'm going to dedicate a certain amount of time to reconnect with myself, fully process the pain and loss I experienced, honor my own preferences, and pursue meaningful endeavors. This intentional approach will greatly contribute to your healing journey. And as you gradually rediscover your true self, you'll be better equipped to navigate a new relationship at a pace that feels right for you. And speaking of taking a break, number 3. You really need to take time off from the dating scene. Considering getting back into the dating scene takes a lot of courage. But here's the thing, after ending a narcissistic relationship, it's crucial to take some time for yourself before jumping back into dating. Healing from a narcissistic relationship is different from a typical breakup, and it definitely takes time. So, here's our advice. If your relationship with a narcissist lasted around a year or more, we recommend waiting at least a year before entering into a new relationship. But if the relationship was shorter or more casual, you can reduce the period of being single to around 6 months or so, depending on the duration of your relationship. Ideally, the break before dating again should be as long as the relationship itself. Now, if the relationship was exceptionally long, let's say 10 years, you don't necessarily have to wait for 10 years before dating again. Taking a year-long break should be enough. Number 4. You are not like your narcissistic ex. Narcissistic individuals have this knack for moving on to new relationships really quickly. They just can't seem to form deep emotional connections, which is unlike you, right? So if you compare your pace of moving on to them, it's like comparing a hummingbird to a cat. They have totally different vibes. Simply put, there's no sense in making that comparison. And when it comes to relationships, you have very little in common with a narcissist. To move forward, it might be a good idea to clean up your social media a bit. That way, you won't have to see their posts or be reminded of their new life. All that can really help you in making those memories with them fade away. Number 5. You don't need to succumb to the pressure of dating fast. Navigating the aftermath of a narcissistic relationship can be really challenging, especially when it comes to getting back into the dating scene. What's more, friends and family might push you to quickly bounce back and get back on the horse, all in hopes of you moving on faster. But here's the thing. It's important to honor your own healing journey and take all the time you need to feel ready. And hey, let's not forget that dating in general can be tough in today's world, regardless of past experiences. So, don't let the pressure get to you and rush into dating again. Your healing process is unique and personal, and it's important to give yourself all the necessary time and space, okay? By the way, make sure to subscribe if you've learned something new today. Number 6. Your experience with your narcissistic ex fooled you into thinking that you'll be alone for the rest of your life. That chaotic, narcissistic relationship you had? It was filled with all sorts of crazy stuff, like withholding, abandonment, and inconsistency. And so, when you encounter anything remotely similar in a new relationship, or with anyone else really, it can leave you feeling pretty hopeless, right? What's worse is that you might even start thinking that nothing will ever work out for you, and you'll be alone forever. That's a terrible feeling. But guess what? What you're thinking is not true. There's always a chance for you to find love again. Just remember that because of what you've been through, you might overanalyze every little thing that someone does or doesn't do. For example, if they don't respond, forget to send a goodnight message, or don't reach out to set another date, don't jump to the conclusion that they don't like you. Sure, there's a possibility they lost interest, but there's also a chance that life just got crazy busy for them. And once they get some breathing room, they'll get back to you. Number 7. You'll keep hearing the voice of your narcissistic ex in your head, but that will eventually fade. Unfortunately, even after ending a narcissistic relationship, it's common to keep hearing your ex-partner's voice echoing in your mind. Their toxic voice saying all the hurtful words and criticisms they threw at you? Yeah, that can stick around for quite a while, even replaying in your head. Your ex-partner saying things like that you're too sensitive, too needy, and that no one could handle you can really leave a mark, right? And you'd love nothing better than to never hear that again. We hate to break it to you. It really takes a good amount of time for these echoes to fade away. That's why it's so important to take a break, Take care of yourself and step away from the dating scene for a bit. Give yourself about a year, for instance, and you'll start to notice those echoes gradually disappearing. And if you can seek therapy during this time, it can really help you let go of all that emotional baggage from the past. Number 8. The entire process is challenging, so you need to be kind to yourself. While the bruises may heal, those memories tend to linger, don't they? That's why it can feel pretty daunting to consider going back to a situation that once caused you pain and hurt your soul. If thinking about dating again feels overwhelmingly difficult for you right now, maybe the time just isn't quite right yet. But hey, don't lose hope. We know incredible love stories that unfolded after escaping a narcissistic relationship. Most of these stories came about because the victims of narcissists gave themselves time to heal, took things slowly, and really listened to their gut. And if you do decide to venture out and things don't go as smoothly as you hoped, or you realize you made a wrong choice and stuck around longer than you should have, guess what? Chances are you probably didn't stay as long as the first time. And that is a mark of progress. Number 9. Your narcissistic ex has likely love-bombed you. It's understandable to have concerns that a new relationship might not capture the same exhilarating excitement as the love-bombed experience you had with a narcissistic individual. You may worry that the calm and peaceful nature of a healthy relationship means you're compromising, or that something is wrong with you for desiring drama, or at least some thrill. One reason you might think this way is because of the love bombing you've endured. Love bombing does provide a temporary sense of euphoria, and the roller coaster of emotions associated with it may have led you to mistakenly associate chaos with love. But guess what? This association is not accurate. So it's crucial to shift your perspective, trust in the process, and compare the chaos you experienced in the past with the tranquility you may be experiencing now. Embrace the present moment and focus on the new sensations you're encountering, like the feeling of safety. Pay close attention to these fresh, positive emotions, because such emotions are a mark of healthy relationships. And if you like this video, then check out these related videos to see more. And make sure to subscribe and leave a comment saying, "I subscribed," and we will personally reply to your comment.